Hi, this is lesson 3. It's just entitled Verbs. It's a little longer than the predicate because there's a lot of different applications of verbs in this session. So take a look at the screen. You'll see that the main word in the predicate is called the verb. Remember, a predicate can have modifiers, prepositional phrases, etc. But the one word, or maybe a verb phrase, within that entire predicate is called the verb. So we're looking at some examples here. The band practices faithfully. The predicate is practices faithfully, but the main verb there is practices. Okay, take a look at this. Ramon often writes lyrics for the band's original songs. The predicate is often writes lyrics for the band's original songs, but we can simplify that just to writes. In the third example, it says, are Ramon's songs good? The entire predicate is are good. Remember, sometimes can be split in half there. But the main verb there is the word are. Okay. Activity 1, we are going to be doing numbers 1 through 5, and there you see them. And what you need to do is write out the predicate and then circle the verb. Okay? So you're going to be doing numbers 1 through 5, writing out the entire predicate, and then circling the one word that will serve as your verb. Pause your screen to complete this activity. In activity 2, you're going to understand that sometimes the verb can be more than one word. For instance, if it has a helping verb. So activity 2 has 5 examples, and you're going to be working on those and set in the same manner as you've done activity 1, where you're going to write out the predicate and then circle the verb. But it could be more than one word. Look at the example A. Global warming has become a serious issue. The verb here is has become. It has that helping verb has and the main verb become. So pause your screen while you do numbers 1 through 5, writing out the predicate and then circling the verb in that predicate phrase. Activity 3, I would like you to skip. Okay, we're going to go right on to 4. Now, before we go on to 4, take a look at this. There are 2 kinds of verbs. There's action verbs and linking verbs. Action verbs can be either physical action, stumbled, sat, and laughed, as you see in that one example in the middle of your screen. It could also be mental action, such as words like thought, knew, or planned in that second example. I'm going to scroll up to activity 4. And in activity 4, you're going to be doing 5 questions there. You're going to decide if it's physical action by writing P on the line, or if it's mental action and writing an M on the line. I'm going to scroll through. Of course, you can pause at any time to complete the 5 exercises. Okay. Now, in this screen, we're talking about how not all verbs are action verbs. Sometimes they're called linking verbs, and I always think of the linking verb as an equal sign. Take a look at this example. It says, that lizard is green. Now, green describes the subject lizard. It's almost like saying lizard equals green in the color. The next sample sentence says, Grant was a Union general in the Civil War. Grant is, or equals, the general in the Civil War. So the word was, or the verb is what we call a linking verb, and most of them are forms of the verb to be. But there's a very good chart that I'm going to show you. And here it comes. Sometimes the verbs are like sensory words, like look, smell, sound, taste, or feels. And those words are also considered linking verbs because they're sort of like they're equal sign. Take a look at these nice examples in the third column, how they're used as a linking verb. So that's a really good, a good list of verbs that are used as linking verbs versus action verbs. Okay. So what you're going to do is remember, if you think it's a linking verb, can it be substituted by a form of the verb to be? And if so, yes, it is a linking verb. Activity 5 is shown on your screen now, And for activity 5, there are 5 questions, and you need to determine whether it is an action verb or a linking verb. So pause your screen and complete these 5. Activity 6 has 5 questions. You're going to be writing out these short sentences, underlining the linking verb, and then you're going to use an arrow to connect the modifier to the subject it modifies, as you see in the example in front of you. At last, everything appears ready. Appears is our linking verb, and you're going to draw a word from, an arrow from the word ready to the subject it modifies, which is the word everything. So pause your screen and complete these 5 activities. Activity 7, since it's a crossword puzzle, I'm going to skip. We are going to move right on to activity 8. Okay, this screen, before we go into activity 8, understand that there's sometimes helping verbs. You might have been hearing them called auxiliary verbs and verb phrases, because sometimes a verb consists of more than one word. Siobhan was writing a limerick. Okay, was writing is your entire verb phrase. Therefore, it's the entire verb, but it's more than one word. Okay, because it's got one of these helping verbs. Okay, they help the main verb by putting in tense formation, conditions. So we have a special name for those 2 or more verbs that work together as one, and it's called a verb phrase. Commonly used ones are forms of the verb to be, or to have, to do, or then these things called modals. But we're not really here to talk about modals so much as for you to become fluent in the way that we can use verb phrases to strengthen our writing. In activity 8, you are going to make 2 columns, and there are 10 sentences. I'd like you to, in the helping column, write out all the helping verbs that assist the items in the second column, which are your main verbs. Take a look at the example. Your quote may have been stolen. May have been are the helping verbs working with the main verb stolen. Okay, there are 10 of these, and I'm revealing them now, so pause your screen, complete these 10. When you're ready, move on. Okay. What we have here are, just showing that sometimes the word order in questions will divide the helping verb. Do you see where it says, did you paint the dog's toenails? Okay, we have a helping verb with the subject and another main verb, and they're kind of they're broken up because it's a question. Okay, there's another way to format it there. The subject you comes after the first helping verb. The second helping verb, been, and the main verb, painting, come after the subject. Activity 9 has 10 questions. You're going to be writing out the verb phrase and then circling the main verb, as you see in the examples, A and B there. Okay? Now these are questions, so like I said, you're going to have your helping verbs pretty much going to be divided around the subject, one of them linking with the main verb there. So remember, you're going to be identifying the verbs, and often they will be divided up. So pause your screen and do activity 9. Activity 10, you're going to take the statements and change them into a question. And there are 5 here. So the sample says the team captain has been named, and you're going to use all the same words, but you're going to change them around to create the question, has the team captain been named? So you can see there, you've got all 5 there. So pause your screen while you complete those. Okay, activity 11, we're going to be skipping this one, going on to 12. All Now, one thing I want you to understand is that when we have verbs and we have contractions like the word don't, and we separate them out to do not, in this example, A, we have Ronnie and Gwen do not play sports. The word not is technically not part of the verb phrase. It's not a predicate, it is an adverb. So when you do these 10 examples here, write it out, take out the contractions, write the verb in each sentence as you see. So Ronnie and Gwen don't play sports becomes Ronnie and Gwen do not play sports, but the verb is do play because I explained that the word not is an adverb. Letter B says, didn't Aaron hit a home run? You would say, did not Aaron hit a home run? But the verb does not contain not. It's simply the words did and hit. So these are kind of tricky. Take some time and complete numbers 1 through 10 for activity 12. Just remember that not is not part of the verb, it is an adverb, which is in a later lesson. So pause your screen, complete these activities, and we're done with the predicate and this unit or this lesson, which was called the verbs. Okay.